AI art scams get weird.
They might not be thinking of it like, for lack of a better way to talk about it, like in the front of their mind. But if it's a little bit off, people might click on it and go, well, what's going on with this? These ads are for like legitimate products, or if the ads under it tend to be scams of some kind.
The one that's like really creepy, I think, it's the Nikola founder sentenced to prison. Semi-truck rolling down. It looks like it's self-powered, but they actually just rolled it up a hill and just let it coast down this hill to make it look like it was driving on its own.
Yeah, grifter's going to grift. I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily feel sorry for the rich people who invested in this, but if like,
hello, how the tech are you? I am historian Matt, and I'm a host here, and I guess I can call myself a co-producer because I'm doing an editor. I'm doing the editing and putting stuff together for the show. But I'm going to jump right into some of my stories. I got some interesting ones. My first story for today is AI art scams get weird. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this before, but there's a new AI art scam spreading on Facebook, and it's just out there. But basically what's happening is there's multiple variations of AI generated images spreading on Facebook. These images are posted as like inspirational, sort of like inspirational memes or something, and used to generate engagement on Facebook pages. This sounds pretty normal so far, but kind of the weird thing is that they're just like a bunch of variations, like hundreds, maybe even a 1,000 variations of basically the exact same images. And they just kind of like evolve over time and keep popping up. And nobody's really sure like why exactly. Well, we don't know exactly why they're happening, but usually they seem to start with like some stolen image, probably from an artist. And then it's like run through the AI art generator to change some aspect of it. So for one example, I think the example that we showed, there's a man posing with a wooden carving of a dog. And sometimes the man is white, and sometimes the man is Hispanic, and sometimes the man is on the left side, sometimes he's on the right side, and even like the dog breed changes in the image. But it's really strange. Like, why are they doing all these different variations? But what exactly happens to these Facebook pages that are generating all this engagement and followings with the AI generated art? Nobody's really sure. Some of them seem to be selling ads. So like the first comment under these posts will be like an ad for something, but people are worried. I don't know if they found any examples of this, but they're worried that these pages are being sold off and maybe used to spread misinformation. Luckily, there is a small group of people that are following up on these strange scams and tracking down the images and finding who the original artists are and pointing out what's happening. So what do you think, Dave? Have you run into this?
No, this is really weird. I think
yeah.
I think the speculation that they're trying to build a bunch of followers on these accounts by posting these, I don't know, cute or weird or, eye-catching images, that seems right, to build a bunch of followers to try to sell it, possibly for dissemination of misinformation, or possibly just to sell it to brands or whatever, right? So that when you put your brand up, you have this page now with all these followers who wanted to see, I guess, a man sitting next to a wooden dog.
Okay, so I guess they didn't explain it very well, but the guy sitting next to the dog, it's basically saying, it's a wood carving, and it's like saying, I made this with my own two hands or something like that. So it's kind of supposed to be an inspirational look kind of art that this guy can make, or that if you practice, you can make this kind of art. And that's why it's strange that they like the original artist is not there anymore. They like pull him out and replace him with somebody else. The one that's like really creepy, I think, you may not, but it's I think they call it Victoria's art, is like kind of the name that the people are tracking it down call it, and it's this, well, the one that you see most often is like a kid holding up a painting that's like half her size, right? And it's supposed to be a self-portrait of her, and it's supposed to be an inspirational thing that this really young kid painted this painting. And it's kind of creepy, like what's going on here. They're trying to sell it as like, I guess, a young kid doing this amazing thing. They did track it back to the original image, and it's not, it's an older woman. It's probably somebody in her 20s, and for some reason they replaced it with a much younger kid, but that's what's going on.
It's weird. This is kind of right up my alley. I might take a little bit more of a look into this. Do we know if you had mentioned like the ads under, do we know if these ads are for like legitimate products or if the ads under it tend to be scams of some kind?
I do not know, but I will say that I've linked to an article. It's not Ars Technica. It's a much longer article from a different website that I follow sometimes for tech news. There's a lot of information in that article, including names of people that you could probably contact if you're curious about following up on that.
Yeah, that might be something I might could do our first How the Tech Are You interview and talk to one of those people once my internet stabilizes.
Yeah,
because doing interviews right now with the internet the way it is isn't so great. But yeah, that's really weird. I think the fact that they're AI and kind of looks surreal might be part of the thing that draws people in, right? Because they're like, well, they might not be thinking of it like I for lack of a better way to talk about it, like in the front of their mind. But if it's a little bit off, people might click on it and go, well, what's going on with this? And then they end up following the page because they find it interesting or whatever. They may not even know that it's AI, but I do think the fact that it, because it's AI, there are going to be like weird things about it. And I think that even if you're not thinking about it consciously, your mind is going to process that and maybe see the image as more novel than it otherwise would be.
Most of them don't seem to be obviously AI, like to somebody who's not fairly trained. Like some of them, I think the dog images, if you look closely at the dogs, they're strangely polygonal. And it doesn't look like as much like a wood carving, does look like AI generated kind of thing. But they're not like, 6 fingers or something, or an extra arm or something. That they're not that far off. Some of the images do have some similar stuff. There's actually a funny thing in the article about one of the images where it looks like a guy had carved this bear into like a tree trunk or something, but the bear kind of like morphs into like an amorphous kind of object and then has like a human foot at the bottom. And then randomly in front, there's these like incredibly small children playing in the dirt.
Crazy.
Randomly.
Yeah, like I was saying, if you don't notice maybe consciously that something's AI, I just think that there's a lot going on in your mind that you're not conscious of, and I think the fact that there's weird things about the images just makes your mind see them as novel in some way that the person looking at it may not even be conscious of, and I think that might be part of the scam. I mean, I'm just guessing here. I'm not a psychologist. I'd be interesting to talk to somebody who job it is or whose profession is to think about or study like how your mind processes just things visually kind of more broadly and see what they have to say about this. Yeah,
that'd be interesting. I will say that from the article and the people who were interviewed in it, they seem to think that the people who are following these pages really believe that these are real images just based on the comments that they're putting on there, and they don't seem to be bots. They did like look at the the actual person's Facebook page and can see like multiple years of posting, right? That just looks like a normal person. So yeah, it looks like people are actually getting duped by these.
I mean, inspirational type posts are really big on Facebook. Or do you know if they're doing this on Instagram as well? Because I think this would do real well on Instagram.
Because it seems like, that's something that would go on Instagram pretty well, but I don't know. For some reason, they've been finding them on Facebook. I've actually, I still have my Facebook page and we'll go on it periodically. And I noticed this first, somebody had posted a link about it, not the actual pages on Facebook, and I didn't think anything of it until I saw this article that went much further in depth than I was expecting. Yeah.
And the comments are like, so inspirational, heart emoji, or whatever, right? Yeah. It's like as I might say on another show, a little bit of live, laugh, love going on in the comments, right?
Exactly.
So since these are inspirational posts, and I'm just speculating here, these are probably marketed primarily to women, because I think it tends to be marketed to women.
I would not be surprised that women are following it. I don't know if it's specifically marketed to them or not. Maybe why I'm not seeing them, right? But it's just for anybody who's interested in that sort of thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how sophisticated Facebook's algorithm is in that respect.
Yeah, and I'd be real surprised if we're not also seeing this on Instagram, because Instagram is the outlet where this kind of stuff is Plus,
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems to have first showed up on Facebook, but I guess you can do the same sort of thing. Just have an account on Instagram that's posting these things and get followers.
Yeah.
And so far, it doesn't seem to be particularly dangerous, except maybe the misinformation thing. But again, it's not clear that that's happening in large numbers.
It'd be
seems
interesting.
mostly just regular marketing.
You said like the first comment or maybe like the pinned comment under it or whatever is a link to something usually. It'd be interesting to go in, and I mean, I don't have the resources to do it, but maybe somebody does, to go in and see like what percentage of those are like legitimate products. Even if they're products, they're kind of crappy or whatever, that, you know, are hard to market or whatever, or they're like trinkets versus like things that are just straight up scams. And I don't
know. Again, I haven't even run into this, like real versions of this in the wild. I've only seen links to people talking about the scams, but of course that's what I'm going to be interested in, right?
So just on with my understanding of like how ideas or things like this would tend to spread on Facebook, what I'm guessing they're doing is they're posting it to like their page, but then they have people that are then disseminating these into groups, groups that are specifically sort of geared to like, you know, inspirational stories, you know, wonderful humans or whatever the name of the group might be, where people are in there living, laughing, and loving, or whatever it is they're doing, you know. And yeah, you and I are, you know, for better or worse, we're kind of cynical. So we're certainly not in those kinds of groups, at least not on my real account, right? We might have a fake account who's a little bit inspirational, who might be in those kinds of groups, and that might be where I'd run across it. I might actually check to see if I can spot some of these on one of my sock accounts. I'm thinking of a specific one that is very basic.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a really interesting story. I don't think I would have come across this if you hadn't put it on here. And now I have a new website to add to my list of stuff to look for tech stories from too, because the article looks pretty thorough.
Yeah, it's a pretty good article. And I started following somebody else linked to that website, and I started following them and to see what other tech articles come up. And I just happened to run across this one this time. And again, like I wasn't going to cover it, but I like read the article. I'm like, this is really good. I need to cover it.
Yeah, this sort of, again, it's kind of neat sometimes when stuff sort of dovetails with the other stuff that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Because I can definitely see how this could be used to manipulate and mislead people over time. All right, what do you got next?
All right. So next I have the Nikola founder sentenced to prison. So what am I talking about? The founder of Nikola trucks, I guess, or I don't remember what the rest of the name is, but so it's the founder and former CEO. His name is Trevor Milton, was sentenced to 4 years in prison. If you don't know about Nikola, they make the semis. Originally, the semi trucks were supposed to be run on hydrogen, but I think they switched over to all electric batteries, or some of them are batteries and some of them are hydrogen. I'm not really sure. Doesn't really matter, because a jury found Milton guilty of 1 count of securities fraud and 2 counts of wire fraud, because he was accused of doing all sorts of fraud. That includes he faked a prototype of the emissions-free long-haul truck, and I believe that fake video there, I think is a fake video that's floating around where they show the Nikola semi-truck rolling down. It looks like it's self-powered, but they actually just rolled it up a hill and just let it coast down this hill to make it look like it was driving on its own. That was actually not in the article, so I can't say like the definitive. I'm pretty sure that's what happened from other stuff that I read. So take that with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But also, he definitely also faked billions of dollars worth of orders for his hydrogen fuel cells and batteries from the Nikola. And finally, prosecutors claim that investors lost $600 million. The company was flying high, and it's, went public, stock price went way up, and then since all this came out, it crashed really hard and is kind of on the verge of going bankrupt, and nobody's sure what's going to happen. But what do you think, Dave? Did you hear about all this stuff?
I did not, but grifter's going to grift. I mean, anytime something like, alternatives to gasoline is, it's a big industry right now, and, Silicon Valley is a little bit grifty. And so, this isn't surprising. I do like the story you told. I hope it's true, about how they're like, oh, here's our semi, and they just like let it roll down a hill.
I'm pretty sure that's true story, but again, it's not in the article I linked to. So caveat that.
It just goes to show that you don't need high technology to hoax things, right?
Yeah.
You can just use, in this case, gravity for your hoax.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I've read on other hoaxes and stuff, it's kind of a requirement not to have any technology to do a lot of these hoaxes.
Right. It's, what they would call like practical effects in movies, essentially, where you don't have to manipulate the image so much as you're manipulating space, like real space.
Yeah.
Because then there's no digital artifacts. It's harder to tell. Grifter's going to grift. I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily feel sorry for the rich people who invested in this, but if like regular people got their money in this, then that like sucks for them.
Well, that is kind of worrisome because it does seem like I believe it actually went public. The company's been around for a little while. And I think there were a number of, normal people investing in people who would otherwise invest, other stocks in the stock market, not super rich people. It wasn't just angel investors or whatever that lost their money.
Do you know, did Elon Musk ever go after this guy for calling his company Nikola? Because it sounds like Elon Musk would say all kinds of mean stuff about a company called Nikola.
I don't think he did, except to, I think he mentioned a few things on Twitter or something when all this stuff came out and all the fraud and stuff came out. Because he was saying, I know in the past that Musk was saying that the only way you could do it is electric truck. And then, of course, they came out with the Tesla semi, and that you can't do it with hydrogen. And I'm sure he mentioned something about the fraud with the video and everything. But I think he shut up after that just because it wasn't a threat after all this stuff came out.
Wasn't a threat, and then it stopped becoming about him. And also, maybe he's like, well, maybe I should be quiet about misleading people in the vehicle industry. Yeah, maybe I should just. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. I hope that the regular investors get made whole, and I hope the VCs in that don't. But I have a feeling that this is America, and it'll probably go the other way.
Thank you, everyone, for checking out the How the Tech Are You weekly tech news show. If you want to check out our other shows, you can do that on echoplexmedia.com. And if you want to support us, you can do that on eplex.store or patreon.com/echoplex. Don't remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below telling us what you like, what you didn't like. We want to hear what you think. Have a great tech and week.